This is Chris Cartea, and today I would like to do a video on the history of the Alpha Kit. The Alpha Kit was an all-inclusive longshot kit that had everything but the spring, and that was for liability reasons, that you could basically put into any longshot or any Zeus shell or any longshot shell and actually upgrade it without needing any other parts from any other blaster. This is the Alpha Kit prototype, the very first one. It had a pusher and a gate, and that's all we had. We had no other parts. But since we were partnered with Explorer, we were allowed to use some Explorer parts to do it, namely the pusher cup. It was laminated with a piece of half-inch stainless steel, and that half-inch stainless steel was channel grooved into the pusher cup and into the threads of this prototype dart pusher. By doing this, we then mated it with your standard plunger head, your standard plunger rod, your standard plunger tube, and we were able to basically make it a long shot kit that would work in the blaster. Now, of course, this was also laminated with a brass barrel, and it was also laminated with a barrel sleeve, and thus made it so we had a working prototype. The term Alpha Kit actually came completely by accident. How it happened was really interesting. I had done an initial firing video where I had fired this with an Artifact 14K spring, and I said that this was the alpha of our kit. Basically, like alpha, we have your first one, beta, which you beta test, and then gamma after the fact. You know, gamma being, of course, the resale version of the product. What ended up happening was boss heard it and said, I like that. Let's just call it the Alpha Kit. You've already called it that, and, I kind of like it anyway. And I told him, I'm sorry. I meant to say that it's the very first of our kit. And with many other versions of kits like this one, which if certain people don't pin it with steel properly, especially when they're giving it to you as a gift, it will fall apart, like Brand X over here. But that's okay. That piece of metal you see is the actual current pusher cup that's used in Revision 3.1. So thanks for the gift, buddy Hang. I appreciate it very much. It ended up being a pretty viable kit. I was taking this to wars, and I was firing it, and it was working pretty good. I liked it. Way bueno. Way mucho. Now, the second revision was based off the original production parts. The original production prototypes that came from the injection molders and the people that built the barrel and the plunger. It was basically your standard Alpha Kit, with exception that the original plunger head was flat, like an Artifact one. It didn't have a speed seal. Well, it was quickly found that we needed a speed seal. So what we did was really simple. We put a speed seal on the actual plunger head. We redid the tooling so that it had a taper to it, and thus it made it airtight. We had to do this because we had promised that this kit was going to be airtight, and even though we could get adequate speeds out of a non-tapered plunger head, we still needed to make sure that we lived up to our claim of airtightness, and that's what we did. So what exactly is Revision 3? Well, Revision 3 was basically what I would call Revision 2.1, which had a Delrin catch and some other stuff that I had done with it. Basically the development of Revision 2. But there was a revision between 1 and 2, which I would like to call Revision 1.1. This is where we had done a metal Omni pusher, a metal Alpha pusher, a dart pusher, and tried to make parts for that. And unfortunately, the dart pushers didn't quite fit. The problems were fixed in Revision 2, where we had done the first betas from the production run. And I had to mill it down with a file and sandpaper. However, I had, as you saw in the earlier picture, Hang's pusher cup that he had given me on my visit to Singapore. And I decided, you know what, I really like the original version of the Alpha Kit prototype. I want to upgrade it to that. So I took the metal pusher with the Artifact bolt sled that Enoch gave me. It was his last gold one that he had at the moment. And I decided later I was going to put like a brass barrel like this one nested in anodized aluminum, 16-inch Ultra Match. And I was later on going to get a metal plunger head and a metal plunger rod and a metal trigger hatch. Actually, I already had a metal trigger hatch. I did a mass order with Hang. But nonetheless, I decided to put all these together with a stock plunger tube, and we have the behemoth we have now. Big Blue Revision 3.1 Alpha Kit. I had brought these home because I wanted to make it a working vacation. I wanted to play around with the idea of making this metal. This was before the original Omega kit that Alex was working on came out. And this really does show, and I do recommend looking in my videos and checking out the range test, because it really does show what an Omega kit might be able to do. Really awesome power and velocity. Well, at any rate, this is Chris Cartea. Thanks for watching, and don't you go changing, or I'll find you.